in the United Kingdom. And like I just said, ladies and gentlemen, some people are calling it Armageddon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. So we are going to be talking about a few things today. First of all, we are going to be starting with the mass incident that's been declared in the United Kingdom. Some people are calling it Armageddon. And I just want to, before I get into my opening monologue on in fact, let me put the chat on. How do I put the chat on? The chat button's gone off. I can't turn the chat on. That's weird. That's weird. I can't turn the chat on. That's really weird. So, guys, I don't know if you can see your chats or not on YouTube. Right. Usually it's there, but okay, the little button's gone. The button has gone, ladies and gentlemen. The chat button has gone. Right, guys, you guys on YouTube, can you guys see this? Right, let me get into my opening monologue, and then I'll try and sort the let me start my opening monologue, and then I'll try and sort the chat out. But normally there's a little toggle switch, and I can turn the chat on, but I can't turn it on. Anyway, let's not worry about that right now, because there are more pressing matters at hand. Armageddon, that's what some people are calling it, as a major incident has been declared in the United Kingdom. Now, this is, I'm just going to give you my monologue, and I want everybody to consider in the back of their head the words sabotage, asymmetric warfare, vandalism, whatever you want to call it. We are 100%. There's no denying what I'm saying now is didactual. It's fact, all right? There has been an uptick of our utilities being set on fire, being sabotaged, being vandalized, and of course, we can never trace this back to near peer adversaries, can we? We can never trace this back. That's the thing about sabotage. So when I'm giving you guys this opening monologue, I just want you guys to just have that in the back of your mind, right? So a major incident has been declared across parts of Kent and Sussex in southwest England, where around 30,000 homes are currently without water. Now, just for context, that doesn't mean 30,000 people are without water, because that means 30,000 homes. So you would consider at least that number to be at least double, maybe even triple, because in a home you have mum, you have dad, you have kids, maybe you have elderly people. So in a home, you don't just have one person, right? So I would say that number's double. At the very minimum, that's double. So 30,000 homes and properties are currently without water in Kent. There's intermittent water, dangerously low pressure. This crisis is affecting areas like East Grinstead, Tunbridge Wells, and scattered spots in Kent. It's forced schools and libraries to close. There's been disrupted hospital appointments, and it's left residents queuing for hours at emergency bottled water stations. Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been talking about how bad the water situation is in the United Kingdom for such a long time. It's embarrassing. It really is. It's absolutely embarrassing. Put yourself in that scenario, right? Put yourself in that scenario. The water's gone. What do you think's happening to the supermarkets in Kent, in Sussex, Tunbridge Wells? What do you think is Of course, people are going in there and they are just buying up all bottled water. So if you're last in the queue, you're not getting anything. That's the reality. That is the reality. So you can imagine how bad things are. And again, I will. Somebody remind me in the chat later to find the official numbers, but I'm pretty sure as I'm talking right now that the official numbers are, if the water system goes down in the United Kingdom, the water companies are contracted to provide each person, not each household, with 10 litres of water per person per day. I will jump onto that and I'll try and get the official numbers. It's easily found. If somebody can Google that, that'd be great. So let me continue. But listen, guys, let me just quickly throw this out there. I can't turn on the chat for some reason on YouTube. So you guys are just going to have to go chatless. You guys are just you're gonna have to go chatless for a while. But anyway, let me continue with this, guys, because this is huge. Southeast Water, the supplier hit hardest, attributes the problems to, this is what they're saying, okay? A combination of freezing cold weather, Storm Goretti, which led to widespread burst pipes and leaks, plus a power cut at a key pumping station plant that hampered the normal water treatment storage. Look, ladies and gentlemen, guys, friends, family, team, fam, you hear me out one time? This is literally exactly how I said a sabotage attack would happen. And I'm not saying this is sabotage. I'm really not. I'm saying in previous videos, I've said this is exactly how you would do a sabotage attack. And again, let me be clear. I'm not claiming that this is sabotage, okay? I am absolutely not. The company is scrambling with tankers pumping water directly into the network. Extra repair crews are working non-stop. Priority deliveries of bottled water to vulnerable people, care homes, schools, and even livestock. But frustration is boiling over, especially, and I reported on this last year as well, especially since this comes right after a similar outage in the same region just before Christmas that left 24,000 homes dry for days, even weeks in some cases. Residents are calling it unacceptable, with some describing scenes like Armageddon. There's your headline, guys. There's your thumbnail. Some residents are describing scenes like Armageddon. And there's growing political pressure on Southwest Water's leadership amid calls for resignation and renewed scrutiny from regulators. Look, I mean, I've done this loads. I've talked about how bad the water situation is in the United Kingdom. We sold our water system to international investors. We sold our water system to international investors. And what they do is, because those people, Kent Water, Southwest Water, they can't choose. They can't say, do you know what? Southwest Water is rubbish. I'm going to go with Yorkshire Water. They can't do that. They're literally locked in. They have to pay their bill, right? So there's no incentive for these international investors to put that money back into repairing the pipes, repairing the infrastructure, hardening things. There's no incentive for that. So all our tax money is going out of the country, and it's leaving, and it's going into another country or an offshore bank account somewhere. Every time you hear, every time, guys, right? Every time you hear Kat on TikTok is saying, I have no water. Kat, I hope you can get some water soon. Kat, right, okay. Kat on TikTok, has just jumped up and said, I have no water. Right, Kat. I'm making some assumptions here. Are you in Kent? And Kat, can you put on the chat, Kat, can you put in the chat what the supermarkets are like in Kent near you? Do they still have bottled water on the shelves? I'd be really interested to know that. I hope I see your comment. So while the official line squarely points to weather-related infrastructure strain, freeze-thaw cycles, cracking mains. Oh, and Kat is jumping back on TikTok, and let me pin this. Pin comment. There we go. So listen, Kat's just jumped on, and she's in Kent right now, and she's saying there's no water left in the supermarkets. So look, I keep telling people to get. People are saying, "Oh, Sean, what items should we prepare? What should we get? What should we get? Should we buy literally water? Water. It's probably one of the cheapest things you can buy now. But you know when everything. Pretend the apocalypse happens right now. How long are you going to go? How long can you go without your multi-tool survival McGubbin? How long can you go without how long can you go without all these little gadgets? And then ask yourself how long you can go without water. And you'll be surprised at the answer. So remember, 3 litres of water per person per day. So while the official line does point to weather-related infrastructure strain, freeze-thaw cycles, cracking old mains, overwhelming the system, I think it's worth noting, and it is. Let me know what you think in the chat. I think it's worth noting that we are, and I'm trying to put this as politely as possible, we are in an era of rising vulnerabilities to critical infrastructure vandalism. I think you guys know where I'm going, right? We do have a lot of critical infrastructure in the United Kingdom. Oh, hang on. Let me just throw this out there. Listen, Kat's bringing some fantastic information up on TikTok. Kat is saying, we are getting through so many bottles in a day. It's scary. Guys, I promise you, I've been in that situation. I don't want to bore people who've heard this before. I was stuck in a place called Amuda, which is in northeast Syria. I had 1 2-litre water bottle and I was there for 24 hours. And I know, I get it. You will consciously think right now, I don't drink that much water. But you know, when there's no water to drink, you become very thirsty. It's like a psychological thing. And like Kat is saying, literally, Kat is on the TikTok right now, and she's saying, we are getting through so many bottles in a day. It's scary. Guys, there's so much information I want to get through today. What's going on? There's so much information I want to get through. So, like I said, while the official line is this is due to the weather, it is worth noting the amount of substations that have set on fire, the amount of fires that have been happening, the amount of water pollution plots that have been foiled by the government. Now, I'm not putting these two things together. That's for you guys to do, okay? Deliberate sabotage cannot be ruled out right now as a potential factor in either amplifying or triggering such widespread failures. Burst pipes and power disruptions might seem purely natural, but that's the thing about sabotage, right? You want it to look natural. Targeted interference at key nodes could produce like the exact same results. I think authorities would be very wise to investigate every angle before they thoroughly rule out anything. I would, and I'm not jumping on a bandwagon here. I've been saying this from day one. I'm going to share with you guys a picture in a minute. And Kat on TikTok, she's just absolutely emphasizing what the picture I'm going to show you guys in a minute. So whatever the root cause, it's kind of like, the root cause kind of doesn't matter, right? Because people are without water and the solution is the same, right? You need water. So whatever the root cause, whether it's nature's fury, chronic underinvestment in aging pipes, or something more sinister, this serves as an absolute warning to everyone in the United Kingdom. Everyone in the United Kingdom. Like, water is not guaranteed. It's not. I've worked in the Middle East probably most of my adult life, and I understand how valuable water is. I know and it really is embarrassing here in the United Kingdom. We're on an island, right? We're always complaining about the rain, but then we don't have water. It's kind of like that phrase, victory has defeated you. Our water supply isn't guaranteed. Being able to turn that tap on isn't guaranteed. Disruptions like this can strike suddenly and last longer than people consider. And we are living in times of uncertainty right now. So I think everybody should just take on board, right? Like personal water security. Just go and buy it now. Like for 5 litres, it's right now in my local store for 5 litres. For 5 litres, it was £1.25. And I thought that was the cheapest. It's not. Home Bargains are doing a 5 litre barrel for 95p. Just ask yourselves this, guys, right? If the water goes down, like Kat's saying, and you're going through lots of water bottles and you're like, oh, God, I didn't actually realize how much water we go through. Do you wish you'd have gone and like, and the supermarkets are empty again? We've got real-time information from the ground. Would you wish you'd have gone and just got a few bottles and put them in the cellar or whatever? So here's the bottom line. I'm not changing my tune. I've always said this from day one, week one. Like, if you want to stockpile something, I would always recommend water. Work on 3 liters of water per person per day, and there you go. Literally, that's it, guys. Now, let me share a video with you guys. Not a video. Let me share a picture. So this is from the BBC. Yeah, guys, I can't get the chat on. I can't get the chat on. I do apologize. Yeah, I can't get the chat on for some reason. It's not coming on. Right. Let me share this picture with you. Not that picture. But there. So I'm going to share a picture with you. It's not really to look at the text. It's just to look at the picture because, you know, a picture paints 1,000 words. So look at this picture here, right? Can I make that big? Yes. Okay, good. So look at that picture. That picture there tells you so much, right? So those water bottles that's a 2-liter water bottle, you know, and there's 6 of them in that, there's 6 of them in that little crate, right? So imagine how much water you're going to go through using, you know, I mean, for one person, you've got 12 liters. So you've got 3, 6, 9, you've got, so for one of those little cases, that's what I'm saying to get for 4 days. It's not much, guys. I promise you, it's not much. 3 liters of water per person per day is not much. It is literally bare minimum. It is, guys. Honestly, it's bare minimum. Now, the question I'm going to ask everyone, right? The question I'm going to ask everyone, if another water, right? Okay, where do you think? First question: where do you think they're getting those water bottles from? I genuinely don't know the answer, right? I genuinely don't know the answer. But they're getting them from somewhere, right? Those water bottles are coming from somewhere. They're either buying them, they've got them on storage. What I can guarantee at this scale, the government, the water companies, they don't have enough water for everyone. So if somewhere else goes down, like Thames Water, Yorkshire Water, Trent Water, Northeast Water, if another water company goes down right now, this is my speculation, guys. I don't know if this is true, but I would say that there would not be enough water to give these people. Because the numbers don't add up, right? 30,000 people, 30,000 homes without water, right? So let's call it 60,000. Well, oh, my phone's there. So 60,000 times 10, you're looking at 6 million, right? Am I right there? 6 million? So you're looking at the water companies have to provide 6 million liters of water per day. Where's that coming from? I'm just giving you guys the maths, right? I don't know the answer. Where is 6 million liters of water coming from per day? That's just for Kent. If somewhere else goes down, where's that water coming from? So that's the first part of the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna jump over to I'm gonna jump onto the chat because I want to talk about Iran shortly because the situation in Iran is going at. Look, Iran's over. There's no going back to Iran the way it was. Whatever the outcome, Iran isn't. Oh, hang on. Helen's got a fantastic comment here. Helen is saying, filter. Yeah, if you've got the means to process your own water, that's obviously better than having it bottled, right? Because then you can go to the local lake, reservoir, whatever. You can bottle your own water and then you can process it yourself. So Trevor is saying, as I person can live on that water for about a month. A person can live on that water for about a month. What water? Are we talking about like 3 liters? Okay, you're going to have to give more context. Donna is saying, Euronews, Greenland and NATO vow to boost Arctic security after Trump annexation threats. Yeah, Trump's taking it, guys. Trump's taking it. He wants it. I want that oil. They've got oil and minerals. We need that oil. We need that great oil. We need to bring our price at the pump down. It's going to be so good. We're going to bring that price at the pump down, and logistics is going to go way down. It's going to be great for the United States. I don't see what the big thing is, really. I don't see what the big thing is. I honestly don't see what the big thing is with this. Not again. Right, let me find this. Oh, right, sorry. 600. Okay, right. So it's almost okay. Sorry, John McKeaney. My Raven maths doesn't always work, but it's always right. So if I'd have asked for 6 million liters, I would have got more than enough, right? So 60,000 times 10 is 600,000. Yeah, of course it is. Sorry, not 6 million. So it's still a lot of water, right? You know, the same point still applies, right? Where is all this water coming from? Hang on. Kev is saying, can you make salt water drinkable with 2 waters connected by a pipe, heat source, and cold water? Yeah, you can desalinate things, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Where was it going? It was on something else. I don't know. Right, I'm going to jump onto this BBC article now because let me jump onto Iran, guys, and then I will get the once I've talked about Iran, I will get all the chat. I will. So this is the article I'm coming with here, guys. Mortuary videos show the aftermath of the Iranian government crackdown. This is the 12th of January. The whole thing it's way out of control now. The one thing that is, I don't know what's coming for Iran. I don't know whether there's going to be whether the government are going to be gone, whether there's going to be something else in place. I don't know. What I do know is the Iran as we know it is over. It can't go on now with this amount of casualties. Right. So let me talk about Iran quickly. So we all know how this started, right? It started end of December. Economic wars, the protests. I think we're on the third week now. There've been clashes between protesters and security forces. The security forces have been using tear gas, rubber bullets, live ammunition fired at crowds. It's been absolute carnage because as a totalitarian government tries to hold on to power, they will do anything to hold on to that power because they don't want to lose power because they know what's coming. The casualty figures remain highly contested. Now, I know Donna's put in, what did Donna put on there? Donna put 650, the BBC. I don't want to put my name to I don't want to put my name to any figures at the moment. I know the BBC is saying that. I'm just not convinced that any reporting is accurate coming out of Iran. So I'm just going to err on the side of caution, right? I don't want to get banned again. So I will caveat this by saying casualty figures remain highly contested, with US-based rights organizations estimating 503 since the protest began, which would be alongside 48 security forces. Iranian state media acknowledges some, but attributes them to rioters or foreign instigation, while independent sources say the death toll could be much higher due to underreporting. Verified videos from Tehran's medical center show scores of bodies, potentially around 180, piled outside a morgue, raising alarms about the scale of violence. Hospitals in Tehran and other cities are reportedly overwhelmed with gunshot wounds, GSWs, and injuries from beatings. Over 10,000 arrests have been reported. So I just want to come on to that arrests. So we know, right? We know that in Iran last year, over 1,500 people got the block. They got the block. They got the cutting block. I think it was hung actually. But over 1,500 people have been, transcended to beams of light by the regime. Now, when you're out protesting and you know that if you get arrested, that's going to happen, you protest with an order of magnitude more fire, right? Because you know if you don't overthrow the regime, if you don't win, you're meeting your maker. You're meeting your maker. Now, from the protesters' perspective, this is a grassroots uprising driven by decades of repression, corruption, and economic mismanagement, with women and youth at the forefront, many defying the mandatory hijab laws that are laws in acts of defiance. And I think that is fantastic. Women taking off the hijab, saying, this is not empowering. I don't want to wear the hijab. And then you contrast that to the United Kingdom. It's just wild, guys. It's wild. It's wild to think what's happening out in the Middle East and in Russia. We are cheering for that. Well, not me, but some people in the United Kingdom are cheering for that. What's that guy's name? That little, I want to say his name's Alex Jones, but he's not. He is it somebody Jones? He's like a little gay guy, and I don't really know. What's his name? I think his name's Jones. I can't remember. Anyway, he's very pro. He's pro. He's very pro Russia, and he loves the Middle East. And I just think, in the most respectful way, I would like to take him on a fact-finding mission, and I would like to take him to some of these places and then bring him back and say, right, go on, mate, go off with your little spiels again. And he would be like, yeah, listen, get me on that Tommy Robinson march. He would. Sorry, so the regime, so back to Iran. So the regime is framing this, however, as protests orchestrated by foreign enemies, particularly the United States and Israel, and has responded with threats of retaliation. Iranian foreign minister has stated that Tehran is studying proposals by the United States for talks, but is prepared for war. So what do we think that means, guys? What do we think that means? Now, we know that in the United Kingdom, we have a massive... You know what? I can't even say that, can I? Experts. Right, okay, let experts on... I shared a video with you guys a while ago, and we talked about how there was this guy, and he was undercover. And he was in one of these terror networks, and he was in London, and he was a spy basically. And he did an interview, and I shared the interview with you guys because it was quite chilling. And he said that there are hundreds of these sleeper cell networks that are Iranian linked, that are operating in the United Kingdom and in Western countries. Okay, so while the protests remain primarily internal Iranian crisis, experts like me are raising concerns about the potential activation of Iranian-linked sleeper cells in Western countries, including the United Kingdom, as a form of retaliation amid escalating international rhetoric. These cells, potentially tied to the IRGC, could involve operatives groomed online or embedded through migration networks, waiting for orders to conduct disruptive activities, shall we say? Disruptive activities? Historical warnings from 20... Historical warnings, certainly my warnings from 24 and 25, have highlighted such risks in response to US-Israel strikes on Iranian targets, with reports of recruitment in Britain. Now, let me just tell you how bad things are in the United Kingdom. And if you're not from the United Kingdom, all right, You may not want to come here just yet. The United Arab Emirates, and I talked about this on the live stream, the United Arab Emirates won't send students to the United Kingdom because they're worried about Islamic, extremism. That's how bad things are, right, in the United Kingdom. So when Middle Eastern countries are saying, whoa, I'm not sending my kids to Britain, they'll come back an extremist. You can't, we kind of, like here in the United Kingdom, we have this, like, we think it's the other way, right? We think if they go to Qatar, if they go to, well, maybe not Qatar, if they go to United Arab Emirates, if they go to Dubai, if they go to Saudi Arabia, they're going to come back and they're going to be wild. Probably not. Probably not. And I can't put my finger on it, guys. I really can't. I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and I'll always say this: my time in the Middle, especially Jordan. I used to live in Amman, and Amman is it's gorgeous. Like Amman is absolutely beautiful. It's the capital of Jordan. You've got all this you've got like this steeped history. There's no violence on the streets. There's Christians and Muslims, going to bars together, and there's no violence on the streets. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happens in the United Kingdom. I really don't. I wish I could put my finger on it. I do. I wish I could, but I can't. Anyway, so that is kind of in a nutshell what's happening in Iran. And my question to you guys is, could the Iranians, as a last hurrah, activate sleeper cells in the United Kingdom? Right, let me jump up and get some Sammy. Oh, in fact, right, listen, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys down in a couple of minutes. I'm going to come to Julia Strokes and Scott and Tab Barker and Tim Hayes 75. Hello, guys. I'm going to close you guys down on TikTok in a minute. I will continue this live stream for about at least half an hour, 45 minutes or something on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube. If you want to jump over there and join us over there, you'll be most welcome. The chat's open. The chat's open. Anybody can throw comments in there. I am being a little bit more draconian now with the chat. All right. If people are jumping on and throwing wild things out there and just going on and on and on, I'm just going to put you in permanent. You're just going to go in permanent timeout. I'm not going to block anyone because I don't feel. There's something about me. I don't want to block people. I'm genuinely. I'm a liberal at heart, guys. I'm a liberal at heart. So I will be closing you guys on TikTok very, very soon. Donna is saying US are going to strike Iran. I can guarantee it. I've been watching their military movements, and today has been a wild one. They're all positioned and awaiting the word. I mean, normally these things would happen on a Friday, right? We're still a few days away. I mean, maybe it's going to be on a Friday. Let's see what. Let me have a look at our calendar. Let me just have a look at the calendar quickly. Spelt calendar wrong, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's go with that. Okay, so let's look here. Let's look. So we are on the 12th, right? This Friday would be the 16th. Let's do a little bit of research now. Significant events. On Friday, January the 16th, 2025, significant events include the ongoing focus on Gaza ceasefire, British Prime Minister's visit to Kiev for a major support pact with Ukraine, first something day in India, PM loaded. Okay, so it could be, it could be that, something, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things happening, right, on the 16th. So this is what you find happens when there's lots of when there's lots of things happening and the media are over there or the media are over there and you want to change attention, you just have a bigger event and then people will stop talking about the focus on Gaza ceasefire. People will stop talking about Keir Starmer's visit to Ukraine. So it may well be this, the strike may well happen this weekend, guys, this Friday the 16th. Because don't forget, if you do it on a Friday, you can make a ton of money on the stock market because you can bet things going up, things going down. Like if the US hit Carg Island, forget about it, guys. Literally forget about the price of oil because the price of oil will go absolutely swizzly-bedizzly. Carg Island, it's off the, of course, it's off the south coast of Iran. It's like a little island on the south, like westerly. Go and check it out on Google Maps or whatever. Carg Island is on the southwestern area of Iran. You can zoom in it. It's a massive, it's a gas oil separation plant, basically. You put crude oil into Carg Island and it gives you, it gives you petrol, diesel, and, all the rest of the stuff that comes off with it. So, yeah, maybe it is. Donna, maybe you're right. Maybe it is coming on Friday the 16th. Who knows? Sean! Yes, right. Asylum seeker. Right. Thank you, Googlino. And I said something else as well, didn't I? Right. So I've got this here from the Daily Express 50 minutes ago. I'll share this quickly before the ads come up. So I'm going to share this now with you guys. There we go. Asylum seeker threatens preacher with knife at speaker's corner. Ahmed Mohammed, 35, confronted Daniel Ayet as he preached in London's Hyde Park. I'm sorry. I fled my country because I don't have free speech and I'm oppressed. But you better say what? You better not say that or else. It's crackers. Absolutely crackers. An asylum seeker from Sudan faces jail after brandishing a knife at a man preaching Christianity at speaker's corner. Ahmed Habibi, oh God, I spoke Arabic the other day and it just came out. It literally just came out. Where was I? I can't remember where I was, and I just spoke Arabic. I can't remember where I was. And I just spoke. It just came out. It literally just came out. I saw some Middle Eastern men and they were talking and I understood the language. And I said, hey guys, how are you? And they looked at me and they were like, and I said, yeah, what's happening? And so I said, Salam alaikum, Habibi, Makushi. And they looked at me and they went, no, I said, sorry, Shaku Maku. And they looked and they smiled and they went, Shakum Makushi. And we just had a little chat in Arabic, and then I was off on my way. Anyway, sorry, I digress. An asylum seeker from Sudan faces jail after brandishing a knife at a man preaching Christianity at speaker's corner. Ahmed Mohammed, 35, confronted Daniel Ayet, I think that's his name, as he preached to a crowd from a ladder in Hyde Park's famous landmark, where open-air public speaking is permitted. Like, where is public speaking not permitted? Do we have places in the United Kingdom where it's not permitted to speak? Mohammed and Mr. Ayet clashed over religion on May the 25th, or May 25, when the Sudanese national asked the preacher, what would you like to happen in my life? Okay, right. I'm going to read this before I read it out loud. Oh, and then he replied, I would like to have the Lord in your life. Witness said Mohammed then tried to drag Mr. Ayet down before he ran off. He returned with a Ken Kniff telling the preacher, I'm gonna do the thing to you. Right? Yeah. Look, we're in a crazy time in the United Kingdom. We're in a crazy time in the United Kingdom. It's a crazy world, and it's just getting crazier. Right, listen, guys, I'm gonna jump down, and I do apologize. Yeah, Owen Jones, that's it. What was I saying? Alex Jones. It's not Alex Jones. Yeah, Owen Jones. Sorry, guys, Owen Jones. Let me jump down. There's loads of comments on the chat, guys. I'm not going to be able to get them all. Right, right. So many comments. Right, I'm jumping down to the bottom. Right, Emma Watts is saying, yes, Christian street preachers are often arrested in the UK now. They are. It's bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. I mean, I don't think Muslim street preachers would. Give me a second, guys, because if this is what I think it is, I may have to start a new live stream. I can't see anything. Where are you getting that from? Stephen, where are you getting that from? I'm not getting anything. No, I've got nothing with that. But listen, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys. Tina Elliott is saying, hi, Sean. Hi, Tina Elliott. I am going to close this down. I'm going to close you guys down on TikTok in a second. Hang on. Man Rams Van USA. Right, give me a second. Man. What network? Oh, right, hang on. Right, okay. So is this from 20? This is from 20 hours ago. Right, so this is a driver has been arrested after allegedly injuring two people after ramming a moving U-Haul truck into a large crowd of demonstrators during an anti-Iranian regime protest in Westwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. Westwood on Sunday afternoon. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed the driver had been arrested and booked as of Monday, but he has not been identified. Okay, looking at this, what I think this is just a guy angry. I don't think this is one of the attacks. One minute ago. This is what I've got as well. And Googleinos is saying UK manhunt. Who's there? You guys, is there a manhunt? Who's there a manhunt for in the United Kingdom? Right. Listen, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys down now. If you guys want to jump over, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm going to continue this live stream over on YouTube. And if not, I will see you guys in the morning. Dobra bacinia. Or dobra noche. I think that's a nicer way of saying it. Dobra noche. Right, so they're off. Right, where's there a manhunt? What's the manhunt for in the United Kingdom, guys? Is it the Sheffield Christmas? Whoa. Right. Right. What? Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. That's. I don't. It's not. Yeah. I've covered it. I've talked about it. I've talked about it. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's run back through. Let's have a little rewind, shall we? Major incidents being declared in the United Kingdom. 30,000 homes without water. Now, I know that's not the big headline that everybody wants, but I don't, is Kate on? Is Kate on here? So we had a girl, or well, I'm assuming she was a girl. We had a girl on TikTok and she was saying she's in Kent, right? In fact, guys, if there's anyone in Kent right now who is without water, please jump up and jump up on the chat because I'd love to ask you some questions. So 30,000 homes without water. So you can at least double that, right? Because you don't just have one person in one home. You have at least two, maybe three, maybe 4, 5. And yes, some will only have 2. So you can at least double that, right? So 60,000 people without water. That's what I'm saying. Nobody else is saying that. That's what I'm saying. At least 60,000 people, right? We had a girl on here and she was saying that they were running out of water. And like you can imagine it, right? When you've got no more water, what are you going to do when you've got no more water? And I'll give you a little tip. I'll give everyone a little tip, right? I'll give everyone a little. I'll give everyone a quick tip. Admit the reality early, right? In any situation, this is just like crisis management stuff, right? Admit things early. Admit the problem that you're in early and take decisive action early. In any conflict management, guys, all right? Accept the realities, take decisive action early. Every time. So my 30 seconds advice, if you was jumping out of an airplane, if you was parachuting, my 30-second advice to you would be, right, just keep your feet and knees as tight together as you can. Literally on landing, feet and knees as tight together as you can. If you was going into a war zone, I would say to you guys, if you were going into a war zone, I would say to you guys, just get on your belt buckle and keep low. If you were doing crisis management and you were saying, Sean, I'm going to be in a crisis, what should I do? I would say, admit the realities early and take decisive action. Literally, the worst thing you can do, literally, I promise you, the worst thing you can do if you're in Kent right now is sit there and say, oh, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Something will happen. It'll get better. It'll get better because it won't. All right. Some people are saying it's Armageddon. Some people they're saying it's Armageddon in Kent because they've got no water. And look, I know it's not the big flashy headline, right? It's not the big flashy Oshnik missile strikes Polish airbase. And I know that's not happened. Putin sends 6,000 drones. New tank destroys, new laser, aircraft carriers, F-16s. It's not the big headline, right? But you know when you've got no water and this affects each and every one of us, this is going to be a big headline to you, right? And remember, we cannot rule out sabotage. Nobody can rule out sabotage. You can't. You just can't rule it out. We're in this new world, right? We're in this new, it's like a new world order or something, like a new world order, Again, the official line to this, what's happening in Kent Water, Southwest Water, and look, let me be clear. It's so embarrassing that we don't have water in the United Kingdom. It's actually funny. Right? It is. It's funny. Rains all the time. Everybody always complains about the rain, but we're running out of water. It's embarrassing. It really, and we're on an island surrounded by water. It really is embarrassing that we're, that we don't have water. I need to reiterate this. All right. Well, the official line is squarely points at weather-related infrastructure strain, freeze-thaw cycles, cracking old mains, and overwhelming the system. Nobody nobody can deny that we are in an era of rising vulnerabilities to critical infrastructure. Deliberate sabotage can't be ruled out as a potential factor or a contributing factor or an amplifying factor or even triggering such events. Burst pipes and power disruptions, that is exactly what guys, how many times have I come on this live stream and said, do you know where your local water pipe is? Yes. Do you have access to a DeWalt drill? I mean, they sell them in Screwfix, guys, and Tool Station. Everybody has access to power tools, right? DeWalt drill, literally, DeWalt drill, metal drill bit. That's it. That's your sabotage. How long does that take? How much does it cost? And these power plants, right? I don't know why this power plant's gone down. I don't know why this power plant's gone down, but that's what they're saying. They're saying a power plant's gone down, a critical power plant. This is exactly what I said would happen. Do it all at the same time to maximize your effects. However, whatever the root cause, whether it's nature, whether it's chronic underinvestment, I could talk about that for hours, or something more sinister, the outcome is the same. Like, imagine what you would do with no water. Tina is saying, yes, Sean, you always say how easy it would be. Because it is, guys. It's really easy to hit those water pipes. It is. It's really easy. And the thing about, if you're a bad guy, right, and you want to sabotage a water pipe, you're going to get, like, if you want to sabotage a gas pipe, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that with your electric drill. It's not going to be a good day out, right? A water pipe, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get a bit wet. Googleinos is saying Sheffield Christmas Day attempted a murder probe launched after drive-by shoot. Right, okay, right. Sorry, Googleinos. This is what we're talking about earlier. Right, let me get this up. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to get you some pictures. You guys have got some pictures. You've got some pictures. I'm not going to pass judgment. I'm not going to pass judgment on these pictures. Okay, right. When you're thinking about drive-by shooters in Sheffield, what's the image of the person what are you thinking? Are you doing pattern recognition? I don't know. Right, I'm going to share this with you, okay? Look, and this is from the Yorkshire Post. Oh, the article's gone. Am I still streaming? Am I on? I don't even. Am I on? What happened? No, I'm back. Right, you guys saw the thing, right? Yeah, so those two guys are wanted in connection. Do you know what? Let me try and get this up again. I think there was something on that page that it didn't like. Let me try and get another page. Wow, there's quite a lot actually. There's quite a lot of shootings in Sheffield. Right. I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna get that page up again because it's right. How am I gonna do this? Oh, hang on. There we are. There's low. Wow. Listen. I've got the keywords up here. Sheffield shooting. I didn't realize how many shootings there were in Sheffield. Man fighting for life. Oh, that's the same one actually. Anyway, I don't want to click on that again because I think it will. I don't want to click on that again because I think it will take me down. It'll take me down. Did they look like Amir Khan? No, I don't. Maybe the one on the right. Maybe the one on the right. The other one was too fat. He's gone. He's gone. I'd had enough. You've done me. You've done me. You've beaten me. You've beaten me. I've gone. So the water shortage in the United Kingdom, guys. Okay, it's some people are calling it Armageddon. It's very easy to mitigate against, right? Okay, just get yourself some water, or as somebody said in the chat, better still, get yourselves the means to clean your own water, right? So Iran. Let's jump over to what's happening in Iran and let me get a live update up. I'm gonna go with the BBC, and I know I get a lot of flack for going with the BBC, but I am gonna go with it because so I'm looking at the BBC now, guys, and I'm gonna try and give you guys as best see if there's been any more updates from Iran. This death toll seems to have risen, but you know I want to be quite clear. I don't think any of these numbers. I don't think any of these numbers are. I mean, this was yesterday. What? This was yesterday? I don't know. These numbers that they're throwing out, I think you should take any number that's coming out of Iran right now with a pinch of salt. I really do. Because the reporting isn't accurate. And I just think I personally think these numbers are low. Right, let's get some live reporting. Iran's supreme leader issues warning to the US. Honestly, you think people would know better, right? You would. You think people would know better. Do you know what? I need to share this. Let me put this back on the share because, this is quite funny. It is. It's funny. Iran's supreme leader issues a warning to the United States as protest death toll rises. So that's what I'm going to be reading now. I don't know what are they going to warn them? Literally, like DJT just goes and snatches world leaders like it's fun. Like, I think it would be funny if, US Special Forces just went and said, right, go and get him, lads. Go and get him. Literally, go and get him. Bring him back. Almost 650 protesters have been in demonstrations that have swept Iran since December 28th. Today, we've seen a back and forth of words between the United States and Iranian leaders. US President DJT warned that the US is considering very strong options. We're going to give some very strong options. We're going to intervene after previous warnings that we would act if the protesters were killed. And Iran's supreme leader urged American politicians to end their deceit and praise state-organized pro-government rallies held in Iran today. In the past hour, the White House Secretary, Caroline Leavitt, isn't she great, Caroline Leavitt? I mean, she's so smart, told reporters that airstrikes, I wonder how you get that job, told reporters that airstrikes are one of the many options still on the table for Trump. BBC diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams says Trump now faces a dilemma. He definitely doesn't. Trump is in no dilemma. He does what he wants. Having to choose whether to follow through on his threats or stand by while Iranian protesters are gunned down and risk losing face. BBC Verify have been analysing footage of the deadly protest and a morgue in Tehran. Iran continues to face an internet blackout that has forced residents offline for over 96 hours. Our colleagues at BBC Persia have been speaking to Iranians about the impact of the digital outage. Airstrikes, one of many options. Iranians tell BBC what life is like without internet access. Can you imagine life without internet access? Like all your invoices and everything that you've stored in the cloud, you're like, oh God, I'm doomed. Starlink terminals. Starlink is definitely it's a military piece of equipment. It is. Right, yeah, we've done that. We have indeed done that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is about it. I think I've managed to touch everything, and I hope I've touched you as well in a spiritual way. I do in a spiritual nirvana. With what's happening in Iran, I'm like, give me a second, guys. Right, okay, so I've just done this, right? I'm getting this article up here. Let me see if this is the right one. Okay, I'm just going to share with you guys this headline. This is about sleeper cells in the United Kingdom, because I don't want, I don't want it to make it look like I'm just like shouting stuff out. Sleeper cells are lurking in the UK. Experts reveal how worried we should be. Right, okay. So, it is out there. There's lots of information. You can find that yourself. I did a video on it a couple of weeks back, and we talked about Iranian-backed sleeper cells operating in the United Kingdom. Now, my question to you guys is, if it does look like the Iranian regime is falling, do you think as a last ditched hoorah, they would just say activate sleeper cells and hit some sort of red button? I imagine it's red. It's probably green, right? It's probably green because that Middle Eastern green. What was the name of the Russian guy? What Russian guy? We need more context. Holly's World Mundano Paz. Holly, we need more context. What Russian guy? There's lots of Russian guys. Ford Hospital. Right. Listen, I don't want to go down conspiracy lane here. I don't want to go down conspiracy lane here. I did a video, right? I think it was November. It was a live stream. And it might have even been October. And I said, hey, everyone, the girls at school are having like flu jabs. And I've never seen that at school before. I've never seen the schools come round to give the kids flu jabs. And everybody was on the chat saying, yeah, everyone's going round. They're all having the flu jabs. And then literally 2-3 weeks after, everybody was getting the flu. Everybody was getting the flu. So I don't know what's going on here. I think we have there's a lot of injection hesitancy in the across the West as well. Modern medicine, it's done so, penicillin, right? Penicillin is a wonder of the world. It is. Penicillin is a wonder of the world. Oh, says me coming down with a cough. You know, so many medicines have done so much. We're at a stage now, I think, and I don't know how I feel about it, where people are starting to be hesitant. People are thinking, really? I kind of don't know what's in that. Silly Galani, hello, Silly. I didn't realize you was on. Silly is saying again, Andy. What's she saying, Andy? Again, Israel is doing all the messy work for everyone. You know, I can't deny this. I feel there's lots of people in the United Kingdom who want to help. But like, we don't have a government that is like, I think we have a government that's in denial in the United Kingdom. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. I think in the United Kingdom, our government are in absolute denial about the state of affairs in the world. And because of that, they don't understand what needs to be done. And I think I mentioned this. I think I covered this earlier on when I was talking about, I shared earlier on. Have I still got it up? Is that it? I think I've taken it down. Right. So earlier on, I shared this bit. Right. I'm going to share this video again. Right. I shared this earlier on today. Now, is it still on? Hang on. Yeah. So I shared this video earlier on today on the live stream, and I'm only going to share the first 10 seconds or whatever, the first 15 seconds. Now, like Silly is saying there, Israel is doing all the messy work for everyone. I think partly the reason for this is because people don't understand the mess that we're actually in. We have these politicians in Westminster, and they're going home and having their bars, and they don't really see real things. So let me share this with you, and I'll you know, you'll see why I'm sharing it in a second. So I'm just going to share the first like 20 seconds or whatever. So I think these are, you know, some sort of African soldiers that are fighting on behalf of the Russians in Ukraine. That's what I think the context is. It doesn't really matter. I believe he's a Russian guy, and he's filming behind the camera. So let's see what he says. Look how many disposable ones there are here. And they also sing. They are joyful. Never mind now, they'll depart to the Zaliv, and that must be some sort of code word to a part of the front line. So he's saying, never mind that now, they'll depart to the Zaliv, the front line, and they'll start singing differently. Now, the context, the wording, the articulation, it's very chilling. Like, if you understand the subculture and the subcontext like I do, this is really chilling. It really is, guys. And to defeat that, it's going to be dirty. It's going to be dirty. And the problem is, if like the government are going to want the soldiers to win, otherwise why send them, right? But they're going to want them to do it clean, and there's no such thing. And and we've seen this where you'll have these legal teams saying, go over there, win those bad guys, make sure you don't break any of these laws. Here's a rule book, there's the rules, and we're going to stand behind, and we're going to wait with our little pen. And if anybody commits a crime, you're going straight to jail. Googleinos is saying the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from Aston Villa match challenged by the Dutch police. Yeah, the whole thing was an absolute, like, I've spoke about this quite a few times, that it was just ridiculous. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And who's really in control of the police? Right, listen, guys, I am going to close this down now. I am just waffling on. I'm just waffling on. Oh, hang on. Woody is saying, I saw reports that the Russians have been torturing them during the war. I can't say what I've seen. You know, I can't say what I've seen a lot of this footage. You know, people talk about Bucha and Bucha Irpin Borodyanka. I was in Ukraine when all this was happening, and I've seen footage straight away, like the uncensored footage of what was happening, and it absolutely chills me to the bone. I won't, you know, I won't talk about it now. But it is, guys, it's absolutely cracking. Yeah, I've seen that video as well. I've seen that video, and it's absolutely insane. And these are the people who some people in the United Kingdom think that, you know, oh, these people are great. Honestly, guys, if you've watched the what's his name? Yuri Bezmenov, his speeches on subversion are fantastic, and these useful idiots are only useful up until point of destabilization. Once destabilization is complete and you head into crisis, those people will be rounded up and they will be dealt with. They will be dealt with. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. No doubt there'll be more news from Iran. Yeah, no doubt there'll be more news from Iran. No doubt there'll be more news about this water situation. Maybe it's going to spread. I would actually say if this is sabotage, it will spread. Anyway, guys, I'll be back on later, and I bid you all good evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.